And then we cut the thicker yellow wire first, then cut the black wire, leaving the second fatter yellow wire attached. This language is unclear because how can you tell between the thicker and the fatter yellow wire?
I really hope that it's like really clear. Like, what if it's not? What if it's just like a few millimeters?
Well, I think that's the joke. Did you forget we're not talking about something that's real, Sin?
Yeah, actually. Hi, Al-Hazred.
Hi, Sin.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to What Were Whys of Killer Instinct. And today, we're gonna talk about Glacius and Fulgore, or as my autocorrect likes to call them, Glorious and Filigree.
Tarnished, you must find the glorious Filigree.
Before we proceed, I have to ask you, what's a Killer Instinct?
Killer Instinct is a series of fighting games that started in the 90s, and then it went dormant for a while, and then the newest Killer Instinct was released in 2013, and people are still playing it since, now the internet exists.
I actually played Killer Instinct as a child back in the Union. It was one of my favorite games.
I put so many quarters into it in the arcade, it probably could have paid for college, honestly. Fulgore is a robot who looks like the Predator. He's basically a Predator version of the robot. He's a robot version of the Predator. I think the resemblance is really toned down in the newest game, but if you in like the original and especially in Killer Instinct 2, it's like this is what the Predator would look like if he was a robot
with a ponytail.
Yeah. I mean, the ponytail, the dreadlocks, same difference, really. The new one does have a head accessory that gives him dreadlocks instead of the ponytails. It's something I've gotten crap for, as I say, like, every time I come on this podcast and talk about how I have, I'm like kindred spirits with Sophie, where, like, whenever I say something about something in fandom, somebody is like, no, that's incorrect. And they get mad. But, like, they're like, no, Fulgore is not the Predator. He's a robot ninja. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Because that's not a ninja. Have you ever seen a ninja? That is not what ninja look like. Maybe one of the artists said that to, like, avoid, like, copyright problems. I don't know. I didn't look into it that much. Mm-hmm. But, like, if you say the words robot ninja to me, this is not what I picture.
Robot ninja, not at all. No.
Yeah. Especially with, like, the wrist blades, too. In the original, the wrist blades look exactly like the Predators. They're the same shape.
Yeah.
They're just, like, made of light, because he's a robot.
Yeah. No, for real. And actually, the reason we decided to record this is because not a lot of people know this, but Al-Hazred and I are actually co-parents. We're co-parenting this very, very nice young man. Who's a robot with a ponytail. Yeah. On the box it said, he eliminates the enemies of Ultratech.
That's kind of simplifying it, but hey, who's counting?
Oh my god, that's Fulgore? Oh my god!
It's kind of hard to see the dreadlocks because on the character select screen you see them in front. I'll send you a couple different color schemes. So another part of Fulgore is that there's another character who is basically Fulgore, but like an early access.
Okay.
And that's Kilgore.
That's me! It's like somebody who loves scary movies, like kill and gore. He's definitely a Terrifier fan. Oh my god.
I thought you would like that. You might notice he has Gatling guns for arms.
Oh my god, that's amazing! Is that reference to movies?
There was a character named Kilgore in Apocalypse Now, which it's hard to imagine they didn't know that when they settled on the name.
There's a Kilgore in Apocalypse Now?
Yeah, wow. Kilgore. He's the guy who says, I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's been too long since I've seen it.
Yeah, but, this is like the early basic model of Fulgore. Like, part of his game mechanic is that he overheats really easily, and so you have to actually manage it.
Oh my god! So, a fighting game where you have to do, like, resource management. Don't tell my boyfriend.
Oh, Fulgore already does that.
Fulgore does that?
Yep.
Now, let me ask you.
Okay.
What is Fulgore's consistency?
Fulgore is a robot made of metal, so I think his consistency is that he's very solid. Although he also has blades on his arms that are made of like light or energy, so those are probably less solid. And he also has a giant laser hidden inside his chest, which wouldn't be solid. You can actually see him at the start of a match. You can actually see him like flex his pecs, like he's a bodybuilder. But what's actually going on there is that his chest actually opens up to fire the huge laser. And so he's like testing the hinges. He did have a finishing move in the original where he took his head off and then a big gun turret came out of his neck.
I remember that,
That could not have possibly fit inside of him. And then he like shot the other guy to death. And then the gun turret folded back in and he put his head back on.
Oh, I remember that.
It made no sense, but it was great.
It made perfect sense, ScHlAuChi. It was a classic. How many Killer Instincts are there actually?
3.
That's right. There was a 2 that I never played. Oh my god, that was also okay.
It played much better, but a lot of people actually didn't like it because the art style was like really different, and a lot of people just didn't like how it looked. But like it was a much better game.
Oh wow! No, I am unlocking memories of also like seeing it and not liking the art style. That's
So Sophie was telling me that she sent a video of Orchid from the original to somebody, and she was like, "This was what people thought were hot video game females in the '90s," and they were like, "No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. You're lying. Shut up."
Why? What's wrong with Orchid?
Well, because it was like she wore like a one piece like leotard thing. It was like completely, and also it was like '90s CGI, so it just didn't look good.
I actually want to ask you a little bit more about his consistency.
Okay.
Didn't you say that there were some experiments performed on Fulgore?
Yes, because I think the original idea is that he was a cyborg. I don't think he's a cyborg in the new continuity. I think he's fully a robot. But the idea is that Ultratech is like, okay, it's a robot, so it needs AI. How are we going to make the AI? So the Fulgore that you play as, its mind is like made by copying over like a brain scan of Thunder's brother Eagle. And so it's like, it has like deep conflicted feelings because it starts remembering that it used to be this other person. Whereas in the original continuity, it was kind of suggested that they just turned Thunder's brother into a cyborg. Unless you beat the game with Thunder, in which case it suggested that Thunder's brother was actually spinal, which made no sense. It was not very consistent.
Oh my god. That's a lot. So Fulgore is basically Predator Robocop.
Yeah, kind of. There is like a little story blurb I found that I was going to send you, and I completely forgot. This is the field manual for how you handle a broken down Fulgore unit, for how the technicians.
A field manual.
Yeah, it's made to be like a soldier that they would sell to people who need such a thing for probably very high prices. So this is like the retrieval manual for technicians to go and get one if it breaks or shuts down for some reason.
Oh my god, I love it.
Without getting like killed because it wakes up and kills them.
Do they sell them? Can I buy the manual somewhere?
You mean, did they ever make a hard copy of this? I don't think so.
Oh. You know I love manuals.
There's 8 steps and an addendum.
Late at night, I think of you, your vision floods my mind.
Part of the lore is that this is a thing that they're going to mass produce.
Like the Wall Rider.
Probably a lot more reliable.
Did they ever manage to?
Yes. In the original continuity, they don't, because the one you play as is the prototype, and they're testing it in the Killer Instinct tournament. And then when you beat the game with Fulgore, they do mass produce them, but then there's like a robot war, and the Fulgores kill all of humanity, like the Terminators.
Like the Animatrix.
Yeah. But in the new continuity, they have already been mass produced. Like in Arya's stage, there are 2 Fulgores flanking her, because Arya's stage is her office because she's the CEO of Ultratech, and there's 2 Fulgores like flanking her desk.
So before we proceed, Ultratech, what is that?
Ultratech is a mega corporation that you see in Cyberpunk, the kind you see in Cyberpunk stories. They're like really horrible. They do horrible experiments on people. Cinder exists because Ultratech experimented on a person and turned him into a man made of fire. Riptor exists because Ultratech was like, hey, the Fulgores won't work for every situation. Let's genetically engineer dinosaurs that we can sell for other operations too. I think there's also a manual for how to take care of your Riptor as well. You have to scrub the cybernetic parts of the tail and things like that. It's written like a pet owner's manual where it's like, this is a fun activity to bond with your Riptor unit, just scrubbing out the grooves in the tail, the tail electronics.
That is so cool. We're definitely doing manuals of Killer Instinct.
You should call it Notes of Killer Instinct for consistency.
Notes of Killer Instinct. Notes of Bloodborne. The universe in which this takes place, where we make a bunch of Fulgores that take over the world.
Well, in the new continuity, they don't take over the world.
Wait, they don't?
No. The 2013 game is a reboot. So it's two separate continuities.
Okay, wait, but so we have two continuities. One they take over the world, one they don't. Let's stick with the one where they do. I find that a more positive outcome for humanity.
Well, then there's nothing to say because it's only in his ending when you beat the game with him, and there's no the story doesn't go anywhere from there because it's not canon anyway.
So the world in which we create the Fulgores and mass produce them, the actual creation of them, was it I guess FDA or whatever approved, or was it an undercover thing?
I don't know if it was undercover either, because the original game was much more overtly cyberpunk. So
okay.
In the new continuity, there are hints that Ultratech is dodging regulations with all of their crazy mad science, and it causes a scandal when they get caught. But I don't think any of that was going on in the original because it was just they have money, they can do whatever they want.
So, Fulgore, you mentioned earlier that there is resource management when you play as a Fulgore. Can you just tell me more about how you play him, his mechanics, his moves, and all that stuff?
So if you play the game now, almost every character has a meter that's divided into two segments. Fulgore has a meter that's divided into, I think, 14 or 15. It's divided into little individual pips. And there is a radiation symbol next to it that spins, and depending on what moves you do, it might spin faster or slower. And however fast it's spinning determines how long it takes for those pips to fill in, instead of just gaining meter normally by attacking or defending in most fighting games or the other characters do. So Fulgore is on paper the best character in the game. He and Mira are kind of tied for that. Mira is the Russian vampire lady. But the way they're balanced out is that they have this really strict. I've never seen Nushanka that was yellow like that. That's awesome, and it's also bigger than your head. He has a dream set of tools for a fighting game character. His dash move is really good. His projectiles don't do a lot of damage, but they fire off quickly. And they can cover the screen really well and apply a lot of pressure. And he has multiple projectiles, both of which are really good. And he can teleport, and you can determine where he teleports to, and the teleport is really quick. What he can do is he can spend the individual pips of his meter to cancel his special moves into other special moves and do one immediately after another. So you can take advantage of all of that if you have the meter to spend, and if you spend it wisely. Whereas if you don't, you're going to be starved for meter. And it's still the same meter you need to do super moves like all the other characters can do normally. So you also have to choose between the special cancels and doing the super moves. And you never have enough. And they've changed it multiple times. It used to be it didn't charge on its own, and you had to do an input to charge it, so you had to look for places, you had to look for opportunities to do it. But that was kind of overpowered, so they changed it. They changed his instinct mode 3 times as well, because it used to be it just set the spin speed to maximum for the duration, no matter what you did, which was ridiculous, because then it just gave you more meter.
That sounds so complex.
He is. He's probably the most complex character in the game. You have to understand how all of that works, and then keep it all in mind as you're playing him.
If you play other characters, it's like driving a regular car, and you play Fulgore, it's like driving manual.
Yeah, that's a pretty good analogy.
You may find it hard to believe, Alhazred, but I'm not much of a fighting game person.
I never would have guessed.
So when it comes to his mechanics, moves,
it's funny. You should probably be doing this podcast with Kyan and Redgrave, shouldn't you?
Oh my god! Yeah. Okay, we should totally have him on next time. So in terms of moves and mechanics, is there anything else you think that is important to mention or interesting?
His combat trait, because every character in Killer Instinct has a passive trait where The normal rules somehow don't apply to them. Originally, I think they called it the combo trait because for the first few characters, it was like directly related to the combo engine. It was some kind of exception for how the combo engine worked for each character, which applies to Fulgore because Fulgore can do auto triples instead of auto doubles. You can choose to have him hit 3 times instead of 2 times with when you're engaging with the combo system. It makes it easier to combo break because it extends the window for which that's possible, obviously, but it makes his reactor spin faster.
Combo breaker. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
I literally have like random flashes from my childhood of random things from Killer Instinct because I honestly did play it quite a lot.
I don't need random flashes. I mean, I still hear the announcer because I play the new one. If you play the new one, you got to go into the options and set the announcer to classic because there's an option for it, and the classic announcer actually is the original voice actor.
Oh, that's amazing! If you ever see him, tell him he was iconic in the Union.
I'm sure I'll see him. He was iconic here too. The guy who directed it still has fans. I've seen an interview with him where he says he still has fans. When they meet him, they tell him their first experience with KI was that they're like, I walked into the arcade one day and I heard this sound. They really did put a lot of effort into it. They sabotaged the arcade cabinet so that like arcade owners couldn't turn it down as much as other machines.
Oh my god! What? Are you for real?
Yeah. Well, he says they did anyway.
Either way, iconic. So now, let me ask you, what are Fulgore's hobbies and pastimes?
Well, he's a robot controlled by a cyberpunk megacorporation, so he probably doesn't have any. He probably just like does what he's ordered to do by whoever's like handling him or whoever he's been sold to, especially the ones that aren't the one you play as because they're like more robotic.
Maybe his hobbies are work. Like he's a little bit of a workaholic.
I think you're projecting. It's because yesterday I got a text from you saying, sorry, have to reschedule this podcast because I'm still at work at 3 a.m. My boyfriend is talking about changing the Wi-Fi password so I can't work from home every night that much because I'm making myself sick. This is exactly what Sin looks like when she's texting, by the way. I promise.
That's true. Do you know what the worst part now? My boss sends me emails being like, please go to sleep. Now, Hazret, Fulgore, where are they now?
Still in the game where their character, I assume.
Okay, let's pretend Killer Instinct is real life on planet Earth. What is their current location?
Well, it depends on what point in the timeline we're talking about.
Give me all of it.
If you play the story mode, they would be fighting like evil shadows of all the other characters because the story mode is that Gargos has finally invaded the Earth, and so all. What are
Gargos?
Gargos is the boss of the second game, and then he comes back in the new game, and he's like the main villain, where he comes from another dimension and he wants to like invade the Earth.
Why would he want to invade the Earth? Has he not seen us?
Apparently not. Yeah, even the giant meteor's fucked off at this point. Doesn't want any part of this.
Thank you, Hazard. Where are the Fulgores on the planet Earth at any point in the timeline?
A lot of them are probably in the Ultratech building, probably like waiting to be sold.
So, like in a storage area.
Yeah, and again, there's a couple in Arya's office.
Oh no, killing her?
No, she's the CEO. They like stand on either side of her desk. They're like bodyguards.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't really need a bodyguard. Like you can play as her. She can fight too, but it's probably like just symbolic.
What? Which one is that?
Oh, you'll like her.
What? Okay, so when you said she's the CEO, I envisioned like a lady in a suit.
I thought you might, and that's why I deliberately didn't say anything when I realized you were looking it up, just to see your reaction. The founder of Ultratech was a guy named Riot Adams, and he founded the Ultrafine Atomic Technology Company. I think the lore is that he founded it in the 40s using technology from the Roswell crash. And that's why Ultratech has all this crazy technology, because it's like reverse engineered from aliens. And then he made an AI like decades ago, and he named it Arya. And then he died of old age at some point, and so Arya took over as CEO of Ultratech, even though she's an AI. Like nobody cares because she made the stock price go like way up even before Riot Adams died. Renaming it to Ultratech was her idea because she's like, nuclear power is unpopular now after Chernobyl and 3 Mile Island. We need to get that out of the company names, and the stock will go up.
Oh my god, she's smart. So you know how they're saying like AI will replace the workforce? AI should just replace CEOs.
I think you're absolutely right.
Is she like a mini Gundam? Mini ScHlAuChi? What is she at this point?
She does have a color scheme that makes her look like a Gundam.
Huh.
But yeah, she actually has 3 life bars because she has 3 different parts that change her that give her like different moves, and you can switch between them. But when you switch between them, it switches to a different life bar. And so when you lose that life bar, you lose access to the moves that part gives you. Her instinct mode is that she uses all 3 parts at the same time. So for 15 seconds, you get access to the whole moveset. When you activate her instinct mode, she has like an anime transformation sequence. Most characters, it just zooms in for a second. But it does like a Sailor Moon thing where the camera spins around her.
For anybody who's new to Killer Instinct, can you define instinct mode?
So this is a comeback mechanic that every character has. It's the little yellow meter under the life bar. You can probably see it if you're looking at it right now. It only fills in when you take damage. It doesn't fill in when you deal damage to your opponent. So you cannot gain it by doing well. And it gives when that meter is full, you can activate it and you get 15 seconds of some kind of power up. So Fulgore gains the ability to do his special cancels without spending the pips of his meter. It's the things you do still affect the spin speed of the reactor, so you might find yourself, after it's over, you might find yourself still not having a lot of meter, but it removes that restriction. You can just go nuts, like doing whatever special moves you want, like very quickly for 15 seconds. Glacius gains super armor, so he can go through taking a hit, and then it'll regenerate after a few seconds. Arias, I just explained. What other interesting ones are there? Rash the Battletoad gets his hover bike from Battletoads when they're doing the turbo tunnels that everybody hates. That flies in from off screen and he rides it and rams you with it.
As a whole, where do you think Fulgores see themselves in 5 years?
Probably still doing whatever Ultratech tells them to do, because it is the entire purpose of their existence. Oh, there's a really obvious answer for where. His stage. Duh!
Do you feel like they might ever revolt?
Well, they did in the original continuity. I don't quite remember Kilgore's backstory off the top of my head, but I think the backstory for Kilgore is that he they don't know where it is because he just up and left. But it doesn't really matter because he's broken and busted.
Remind me again, what's the difference between Fulgore and Kilgore?
Kilgore is an earlier version. He's not nearly as advanced. He's got Gatling guns for arms instead of the cool energy blades, so he can't open doors. Inexplicably, he can curl up into a ball and fling himself like Blanca from Street Fighter. I don't know why they did that. I think the idea is that he's using the Gatling guns to propel himself. Or maybe he has a jet on his back that I can't remember. Kilgore was Fulgore in early access. You can see it just looking at him. He looks he looks closer to a robot you might see in real life, on the set. It's not something you would see in real life, but he's more rough and.
Yeah. He's more like Fallout-y than Fulgore.
Yes, that's actually that's a much better way of putting it, actually.
So, in my outline, the next question is classify them into one category: outsider, Yarnamite, bourgeoisie, beast, kin, or great one.
I think that outline was meant for a different series.
I think we need to let's revamp the outline. I'll hazard.
Yeah.
So, what kind of categories do we have in Killer Instinct?
I guess it would be Ultratech, Opposes Ultratech, and Gargos. I guess maybe there are independents, but I think that probably falls under Opposes Ultratech one way or another.
So Fulgore would be
Ultratech.
Are you sure? Are
Yes.
we locking that answer in?
I think we should. It does get a little. Sorry about that. It does get a little. It does get a little with the again with the Fulgore you play as, because he starts having memories of the person whose mind was used to make his AI. It gets a little
right.
It gets a little funky, but I think in general it's probably safe to say Ultratech.
Okay, thank you. The question here is, what's their purpose or mission? What are they protecting? Why are they attacking?
Their purpose is to do whatever Ultratech tells them, but if we want to get deeper into that and think, what is Ultratech going to tell them? It's probably usually going to be to protect Ultratech. But once Gargos invades, it's going to be to fight Gargos' forces.
Okay.
one of the stylistic things that the new Killer Instinct does is that when a match finishes with an ultra combo, the music changes and plays based on the rhythm of the hits.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
Isn't that cool?
it's like Doom. It's like Doom. Yeah, no, that's really cool.
And they all sound different on every stage because every character has a different rhythm that they beat the other guy up with. Same guy did the music for Doom.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, it's Mick Gordon. He didn't do the last season of Killer Instinct because he was doing Doom. So he did the first 2 seasons of Killer Instinct and then he went and did Doom.
You know what? This makes me want to go ahead and play Killer Instinct, but I'm really bad at fighting games.
I mean, you just set it to easy.
You said it, yeah. If I play the entire game versus a computer on easy, do I still get a cutscene in the end?
It depends on what character you're playing. Actually, yeah, you'll still get some kind of cutscene in the end. And there is a single player campaign mode that they added. So you choose 3 characters, and like every time there's a fight, they'll have like the characters will trash talk the enemy, and eventually you fight Gargos at the end.
Oh my god! Okay, that's amazing. I'm gonna do that. So I'll hazard it. Now, what I'd like us to do is to go through the Fulgore field manual. So, it's the Fulgore Mark III specifically. Okay. Which one is Mark III? Is that in Killer Instinct 2 or the remake? Or
This is the new one. This is the remake.
the new one. Okay. Now, this is highly confidential. So we can't tell anyone we talked about this.
Yes, as we put it on the internet.
So it says here, retrieval of the cyborg brain from a partially destroyed unit bearing this unique serial number for transportation to Ultratech headquarters for repurposing. See Appendix E7 to 9B. Where is Appendix? E7
I don't think we get the appendix, unfortunately.
Oh. Okay, so but this at least it tells us that we can like reuse the brain even if the unit is damaged.
Yeah.
That's like recycling. Very green.
Did I mention one of the reasons the original story is a mess? It's because there's time travel, but it makes no sense. Like
No.
part in KI2, they're like, yeah, when Orchid killed Idol, like it released such powerful energies that it sent everyone on Ultratech 2,000 years into the past. And I think that's the justification for why the new characters exist, because one of them is like Conan the Barbarian and stuff. So it's like, oh, they're from Fantasyland. But like several of the characters still have stages that are like modern cities, so it makes no sense. And so like if you want to reconcile that, you just have to say, I guess the first game took place around the year 4000.
Oh my god.
But they never say that. That's just like my guess to how to make sense of it all. Anyway, the thing we're actually supposed to be talking about.
Yeah. So here it says that the retrieval of the brain, we have to approach it with extreme caution because multiple self-destruct.
That extreme caution is in all caps.
Extreme caution. Multiple self-destruct and defense mechanisms have been implemented to keep this brain core from falling into the possession of enemy corporations and or rogue states. So who is this manual for? Is it like a regular person who finds a Fulgore on the street, or like?
Presumably. Well, probably not finds them in the street, but is sent to retrieve the brain from one that's gone offline.
Okay, so presumably this manual is aimed at like a tech who will retrieve Fulgore units when they're broken down. So it's like a tow truck or something.
Probably be flown in, really, because it could be anywhere.
Flown in. Okay, so this unit is a unique model and highly adaptable. Do not attempt to place its brain core in another unit not equipped with a Raid Mag.
The Riot Mag item is referencing Riot Adams, the original founder of Ultratech. It's like it's a thing named after him.
And then they say has been known to exhibit rebellious behavior,
which strongly suggests this is the Fulgore we play as, and they made the brain by mapping Thunder's brother onto it.
And then there's like a disclaimer that failure to follow directives can lead to dismemberment, internal organ failure, chronic illness, brain damage, and death. So is this an application if you do it wrong, Fulgore is just going to rip you apart?
Probably yes. I think it's going to describe how it will do that if you do it wrong, in fact.
Oh, okay. okay. And this is highly confidential, and we're going to get fines if we talk about this manual. Uh-oh. Okay.
And imprisonment in an Ultratech private prison complex. Again, cyberpunk megacorporation.
Okay, so step 1. So we have to make sure the unit is completely inactive. How do we make sure it's completely inactive?
Well, there is a suggested tactic right here for doing so.
Approach the unit slowly wearing full regulation class 20 body armor with ultra-fine deflection shield in max position.
I want to point out that ultra-fine has a copyright symbol next to it.
They tell us make sure it's completely inactive, and then they're telling us what to wear as if it's not going to be completely inactive when they approach him. So there's no way to actually make sure it's inactive remotely, is what I'm getting.
Probably
here.
not.
It's like you're kind of taking a chance here.
This is the problem when you start talking about putting brains into robots. Like, you can't really know for sure, can you?
Okay. So they need to correct this and be like, you can't really know when the unit is inactive. So wear full body armor, bring your guns, be careful. This manual is a little misleading. Warning, if this Fulgore unit targeting light suddenly activates at range of 2.5 meters, the technician has 2 options. Evacuate area at full speed, which then states it may be problematic if you're wearing full body armor.
Yeah, it does say that, yep.
What's the second option, Hazrat?
The second option is to depress your EMP burst immediately. However, while this will fully incapacitate the unit's electrical functions, it may trigger the unit's lithium battery-powered reflector, i.e. energy shield. The reflector will remain active for up to 18 hours, and prolonged exposure to the shield's low-frequency emission may cause one or all of the following: internal bleeding, psychotic hallucinations, depression, and damage to the spleen. Fortunately, you can live without your spleen.
Oh my god. Thank you. And if unit's targeting line does not activate during approach, then proceed to step 2.
So we've gotten the first step done now. We can move on to step 2. We're not done. We're just done with step 1.
Okay. How do you feel about step 1, Al-Hazrat?
It kind of terrifies me. I'm not going to lie. I don't want this job. They would have to pay me a lot of money to do this job.
I wonder what it pays and what qualifications you need to actually have to apply. That's interesting.
I hope they unionize.
Do you think the job description there only lists the positives, like learn how to operate a power armor, lots of travel,
gain experience working with robotics?
Yeah.
Step 2 is to locate the cyborg's back head plate, recessed access panel number 2, which is a matte black finish with a hexagonal in size. I can't read today. In size marking, and verify the serial number. And then, using the proprietary barrel nut wrench number 7 with extension number 5, turn clockwise on all nuts marked with the Ultratech symbol.
And we have to use wire cutters to cut all red wires inside access box.
Which is apparently just the head, because that's what we've opened up.
Okay.
And then we cut the thicker yellow wire first, then cut the black wire, leaving the second fatter yellow wire attached. This language is unclear, because how can you tell between the thicker and the fatter yellow wire?
I really hope that it's like really clear, like it's. But what if it's not? What if it's just like a few millimeters?
Well, I think that's the joke. Did you forget we're not talking about something that's real, Sim?
Yeah, actually.
Does this happen when you're doing Souls content with Sophie and you're like, what's the consistency of Souls? And when Sophie says, I don't know, you're like, well, can you measure one right now?
Yeah.
Because you forgot that you're talking about a video game?
We're very invested, okay? This is
that's why
fascinating.
your content is so good. Anyway,
Husband's
if
being sarcastic.
no, I'm not. I love your comment.
Mhm.
If the blue burnout wire has not been melted and is still connected to the port marked C-L9, leave it uncut. If the wire is jiggled, the unit will self-destruct immediately.
Oh my god! Okay.
See Appendix X1.7 for close proximity explosion survival statistics and standard practices. I don't think we have that.
But
appendix,
again, we don't have
unfortunately.
that. Oh, I'm a little disappointed.
I assume
But
I assume those statistics are not favorable.
oh my
So don't jiggle the blue wire.
god, don't jiggle the blue wire. Um. Oh, there's a suggestion though.
Yes. Suggestion: do not speak, hum, or breathe loudly during the cutting of wires. This Fulgore unit's vibration detector is set to maximum and may initiate unexpected defensive rollout maneuver classified of all remaining cyborg parts.
Oh my god. All right, so you got to be very cautious, very careful, extremely still, extremely quiet. Cut the right wires if you can make it to step 2. Okay.
And now we have a warning, which is to beware of random plasma storm bursts from unit's claws. This is one of his projectiles, by the way. He actually shoots out the wrist blades as projectiles.
Okay.
If plasma burns through Class 20 body armor, then call for immediate evac and depress cooling gel feature on wrist control pad. If wrist control pad is compromised, initiate manual cooling gel application protocol.
This makes me think of something Gladys would say in Portal.
Yeah, they might have had that in mind when they were writing this.
Step 4, place the neodymium magnet. Right, Mag? Trademark. Unlocking key, unlocking key in unmarked heptagram-shaped slot. Oh, we have like a C Appendix Y for a visual. Okay. To unlock the brain.
Step 5. Depress Riot Mag key with force exceeding 20 kp, 44 pounds, until neodymium magnet is flush with slot edge. Warning, if Riot Mag was not placed precisely with STAR's lineup marks on slot edge in Step 4, the Fulgore unit will let forth a single burst of its devastation beam. See Appendix Z4.8.73, Field Tech Beneficiaries, and Funeral Arrangement Supplementary Tables, full-time employees only. The devastation beam is the chest laser, by the way. So
God!
If you screw up this step, its chest will open up and it will do the giant laser that we showed earlier.
Okay, so piece of advice: approach it from like behind.
Yeah, probably.
Right. So even if it does it, all right. So that's
even if the slot the key goes in is on the front, just reach around from behind.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the manual should include this in step 1, like approach from behind. Yeah. I feel like also, like give all the security stuff at step 1. Approach from behind, don't hum or make noise, stuff like that. So it says you have to apply it with force exceeding 44 pounds. So, but maybe if you're wearing armor, really it's like easier.
Yeah. The armor's going to make you heavier, and you can just lean into it.
Yeah. Okay. The good thing is there's no like maximum force you can apply, so you can just like go all out.
Yeah, okay. that was a good safety feature they put in. I think that you don't need to worry about that.
Yeah,
and you'll be fine. Just make sure it goes all the way in.
So, step 6, once the Riot Mag has been secured inside the slot, the Fulgore unit's brain is ready to be placed in its Ultraphone TM carrying case for transportation. Okay, I would like to see what the carrying case looks like, actually. I'm curious, but we don't have pictures.
It's probably a box with foam inside. Probably has the Ultratech logo somewhere on it, too.
Yeah. Like, I'm picturing, like, a MacBook design, like an Apple aesthetic. What are you picturing?
No, probably more like gunmetal gray.
I think you're right.
Because even Aria doesn't have the Apple aesthetic.
Case will automatically lock with quantum encryption code. Do not attempt to open case, as self-destruction will occur. Ooh. Proceed immediately to Pinnacle and deliver directly to Repurposing Lab, sub-level 21X.
The Pinnacle is the Ultratech corporate headquarters building.
See access to undisclosed levels of Ultratech. Oh, so if we have this job, we have access to the undisclosed level of ultra tech, so we get like extra clearance.
Yeah.
Ooh, oh, that's fancy. Okay, okay. There's a suggestion. Can you tell me about the suggestion?
The suggestion is do not pick up small children for 2 weeks after handling the brain core. See Radiation Exposure Handbook.
Okay, so in the beginning where they were talking about certain side effects like internal organ failure, I was thinking like that's probably would have to do with some sort of radiation. As
You might
opposed
be onto
to
something there, because, yeah.
Yeah, but I was like, nah, it's a fighting game. It's probably like fight, 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 pew, pew, pew. But no, they thought of it. Oh, that's so cool, though.
I mean, it could be both. Fulgore does have massive blades on his wrists made of plasma.
It's probably...
And a giant laser in his chest and eye lasers. The lasers also probably emit radiation, so like you could like it could pass you by the side and still like kill you 3 days later.
Oh my God.
Did you see Chernobyl, the series?
Yeah.
They really toned down like how bad radiation poisoning is in that. You basically melt.
Oh my God, they toned down how bad the Union is in that one too.
Did you know the Russian government was going to make their own series in response to it, but I think it got stuck in development hell and it never got made. Because they were like, everybody knows there was a CIA agent in the control room at the time. Historians don't not disagree entirely on that.
I heard something, but I didn't really... I guess they're a little busy being embarrassing.
Yeah.
Right now it's like really embarrassing to be Russian, more so than normal. I just say I'm a Quebecer.
There you go.
There you go.
Well, I mean, until 2 years ago, everybody thought Russia had the second strongest military in the world, and it turns out they have the second strongest military in Ukraine.
But I do appreciate that they do tell us not to pick up small children, and they tell us to see a radiation exposure handbook.
I like how it says see the handbook, not a doctor.
See that?
So, like, do we get health insurance in this job? Apparently not.
But you know what? Maybe there's like a bunch of non-disclosure things you sign when you work for them. Maybe they have like an in-house doctor you can see.
That would be convenient.
Yeah.
Which means they probably don't, because it would cost money.
Oh my God. Step 8. Don't forget to fill up your FML completed task report and rate the efficiency of this manual section. How do I rate it? Is there, I guess it's, how do I rate it? Oh, in the report. I guess, well, where's the report?
Well, you have to fill out
Is
the
it
report
attached?
first.
No, but where's the PDF?
It's not real.
Let me Google it. I'm going to Google it. I don't care. Oh, wait. Let me Google the report. University of Toronto line item reports in funds management. Click.
Well, it's Canadian. There you go.
Okay. Can you tell me about the addendum?
The addendum says, testing on unit S4.Q4NT.YX-003 has revealed that its I-beams were misaligned and not traveling all the way to the intended target. Laser reticles can be realigned in the field using the simple procedures outlined in section FM-L 104B-2039B PP 347-867 and FM-L Appendix 2 Second Revised Edition. I'm just going to go ahead and say that I don't think any addendum that abbreviates down to FML is probably trustworthy.
Wait, so you have to read like 500 pages to learn how to realign its eyes? I'm not doing that.
Certainly not in the field when we're worried about like the radiation poisoning and the giant chest laser. I mean, God.
Okay,
I think the care manual for Riptor is probably less dangerous.
Al-Hazred, do the outro.
That was episode 1 of What, Where, Why, Killer Instinct, and we did Fulgore.
And it was really informative and really enlightening, and we're at a manual. Next episode, we will rewrite the manual.
To raise it to your exacting research standards.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you, Al-Hazred.
Thank you, Sin.
And thank you, everyone, for listening. And see y'all next time. Ciao, Sue.
Reborn!